Gabe the Izzard here in front of the Arizona Falls in Herberger Park off of Indian School Road right over there. I'm starting my day here. I am heading east to Mesa, Arizona to show you something pretty cool. I've never been there, so I'm hoping you enjoy it. Go ahead, tag along. It's noisy here. Point to note, I have done a longer video here at the Arizona Falls, so if you want to see that, head back a few videos to my last trip to the greater Phoenix area on the Mesa. So I'm taking just a quick little detour to the hole in the rock. No, it is not that hole, but a little bit larger one. So do you think that it's possible that this rock came out of this hole? Because this is the hole we're dealing with. And there are always people in the hole. Dang you Instagrammers. Yeah, I think I'm gonna pull one of those old man cards. What's up with coming to a place, dressing all up, acting like you're doing something outdoors when all it is really just a photo shoot? And put some freaking clothes on. My lord. Got a bad case of camatosis here. I'm going down the wrong way. Like I said, I like to run down the hills. Makes it a little easier. Woo, lizard. So that's where I was, up in the hole in the hill, hole in the rock. Yeah. Now, on to Mesa. Well, I overshot Mesa, and now I'm in the middle of the desert. I just wonder if there's some way of knowing which way to get back to Phoenix. I don't know. We'll see. Jeff Bezos money. And now I've made it to my destination in Mesa. I did find a way to get back towards Arizona. We are going to go in the Commemorative Air Force Museum here in Mesa on the corner of McKellips and Greenfield in Mesa, and there is an anti-aircraft gun. That is awesome. Going inside. I am starting out in this hangar in reverse order of time. We could start with World War I going into the Vietnam era, but I am starting with the engines and heading in reverse chronological order. They do have engines that are on display. These are of the turbojet style, which would be located inside the rear end of one of these, giving a heck of a push into the sky. There's also airplanes hanging from the sky, along with different badges of Air Force from around the world. This is the inside of the turbine. And point to note, all of these airplanes have been flown at one point or another, minus the very first one when you walk in the door. It's a reproduction. And these are all going to be taken out of here in 10 days and will be on a tour, a roaming tour. A little putter engine compared to these jet engines. Here's a collection of World War II German military badges and a German Luger pistol. Here is more German items, and along with Japanese items, spoils of war, or as my grandfather would like to call them, souvenirs. This is a scene that was all too familiar during any war, especially this is showing World War II, is the lady at home getting the box of her husband's belongings after he perished. All too common in those eras. The Air Force did have lady pilots, as you can see here in the jumpsuit, and they also incorporated black pilots into the Air Force, the Tuskegee Airmen. Look at this bad boy here. This is a naval aircraft with the wings that will fold because they would be on an aircraft carrier, and that makes it easier to store. And there's the pilot that would be in there. Here's a simulator cockpit for a Jet T-33 P-80 instrument panel. Let's check out the seat. The instruments. This was used. This is not a fake simulator. This is a real simulator. And that is here in the foreground of an Army helicopter. You can see the pilot in the top, and the crew would be down here. Small little area. Still smells like it has that classic military smell. This is a Chickasaw. Sikorsky H-19 Chickasaw. And the propeller blades folded for maximum compaction. They also have acquired a MiG-21. As you can see, lots of Ruski writing on there. This was operational during 1958. The MiG was a foe of ours. It has a sleek design, bombing and missile capabilities. Cockpit's open, and I am gonna go take a peek. Pretty tight quarters for anyone. See the instrument panel, the pedals below. Looking through there. I don't know what any of this stuff is, and most of it is in Ruski. This is pretty dang cool. How many times has that trigger been used? And those fire buttons. missile drop. Ejection handle. Incredible. Now I'm on the tail end of this helicopter. This is an Apache, I believe. Oh, Cobra. With heavy armament. There's a gun here. Rockets shoot out of these areas. Bullets shoot out of those. It's pretty dang cool. You can walk right up to these. This is a Douglas attack bomber 26, used from World War II, Korea and Vietnam era. They would paint ladies on the side. It's a bomber, so you could see here, they would look through down here and be able to see what they were going to attack. And this would be the bomb doors. They've got it blocked off, but the bombs would be stored back there, and they would be dropped from this area down. Still using propeller engines, propeller engines. And then there is some passenger seats. And this is where the landing gear goes inside. If you've ever been on a battleship tour or tour or any type of military, there's a certain smell, and it's like oil and dust. And these planes have it. Hydraulic fluid, I think, is what the smell is. This is the gun turret periscope for the Douglas 26. They also have a Mustang in here. As you can see, it says Stang. This is a single pilot airplane with gun capabilities. This is a dogfight airplane used during World War II and beyond. You can see where the wheels go in there. Pretty flashy colors. Here's what an American pilot would look like, right next to a kamikaze. Airplanes were had a significant role in World War II in Europe and in the Pacific. As you can see, aircraft carriers carrying airplanes, leading bombing raids. Lots of different styles of airplanes. One of the famous air battles was the battle at Midway. And it was a turning point in World War II of getting a foothold in Japan. They also have a MiG-15. This was used by the North Koreans. You can see its sleek silver design and tiny cockpit with all the instruments, gizmos, and gadgets. These are some fast moving machines. Of course, here's a piece of literature that shows what the gadgets and gizmos are. Here's a Grumman Avenger torpedo bomber. This had 3 personnel on board. Used by the Navy because you can see it has the folding wings. This was used during World War II and beyond. And then here we go with another airplane. I don't know what this is. It says Wildcat on it. This place does give guided tours. You can do it singularly if you want, or if you have a group, they'll do a group tour. I'm moving on in here just to give us a span of the hangar here. And come over here. This is a piece of the USS Arizona, which was sunk at Pearl Harbor. And there is the mast at the Arizona State Capitol, along with sailors' uniforms, Air Force uniforms. This is an old school simulator used to train pilots, move around, and with your pilot's movements, the simulator would move with it. Attached to this right here, so I'm assuming a person would be here, putting him in different circumstances, like cutting the fuel and seeing what the pilot would do. Pretty neat. Here we have some World War I era. This is a tri-wing. It's a Fokker DR-1. Wooden propeller. This one had single pilot. You had the gun on top. Look at the fancy instruments. I bet you more than anything this thing flies. And this has like a leather bound. It's not even metal. You would think it's metal, but no, it's a leather fabric type material. This is the only reproduction that is actually not a flown airplane. This is the Newport 28 World War I era, but it is pretty. On to the helicopter here. It's the Huey. This was a Vietnam era. You had the pilots and gunners. This was a very well-used helicopter in Vietnam. Saved lives, took lives, and was pretty awesome.
The gun is typically going to be facing out. Yeah, no, typically the gun will be faced straight out. Yeah, you'd sit right here and you get down.
Just makes me think of the scene in Full Metal Jacket with the Joker and I can't remember the other guy, his little sidekick, were sitting there and the guy was just mowing down civilians. And he was like, what about the women and children? Full Metal Jacket's a great movie. There's a Huey. Pretty slick. And then I'm back to the very first one here. This is a A7. And we can walk up in here. actually have a pilot in the seat. Instrument panel. Tight area. And then he would have not really a co-pilot, I think it was more of a navigator, gunner back there. This is a pretty cool place. The people that are working here are all retired Air Force, and they're very friendly, very knowledgeable, and like one just called me by name just because I signed up on the mailing list. And now I'm going outside and checking out the hangar, the maintenance hangar. So this is the maintenance hangar here. This is where they fix and repair, maintain the planes. And I can actually go in that, and I will. Here's a Jeep. And these are all working airplanes here. These get used. They actually do tours here. You can book they will take you up in that plane right there. I think it's that one. They'll take you out and do a loop around the Phoenix area. That would be cool. I don't know how much it cost. There you go. 2-seater. Beechcraft. Boy, these things right here. World War II era. These things you could take just about anywhere. Land them anywhere. You get a flat grassy field, this thing's landing. That's a beautiful aircraft right there. Here's the rear gunner on this B-17. Mighty tall tail. Here are the front engines here. Here is a replica of a bomb front gunner. 4 engines on this sucker. And here is the entrance for the pilots. First always. Right here is the bomb bay where the bombs be dropped. Many people have signed this. Probably people that have flown on this aircraft. This was an actual commissioned aircraft going up. Very tight quarters. There is the front gunner. That is not where the pilot sits. That is a gunner. And I will make my way up to the pilot and co-pilot seat. The throttle. Looking out. There's another little jump seat right here. Make our way back. This is very tight. This is the bomb doors. This is pretty slick walking through here. All right, here's the navigator and radio. Or the navigator might be up in that jump seat. I'm not sure. But look here. And down here is another gun turret. This is the middle gun. Then you can walk around here. This would be a gun that somebody would man back here. You can see it has the grips. This is a 50 caliber machine gun. Of course, other little jump seats back here for some crew. And then down and out. Oh, that is slick. There's where the gunner would be. It'd be hanging out right there, spinning around, shooting.
This gets glowing red hot. Dark how you see it red, you can't see that there, but this is glowing cherry red.
That is pretty cool. You get to climb through an actual airplane that had been used in battles and wars. Nice. Coming out of the maintenance hangar, I'm gonna walk over to this 1944 made in the shade. Excuse me. This is a 2-engine. Front gunner sits there. Pilot on top. Gunner on top. And these planes fly. These are not just some rinky-dink put together model airplanes. These are the real deal. And $15 is what it cost to get in. And like I say, if you wanted to have a guided tour, they would just do it for you. I mean, there's plenty of people there to give you information, or just walk around like I'm doing. And now I'm coming back up onto this one. This is another one they have open. And this is a usable one. And I think that this is the one that they also do tours in. They have multiple airplanes that they do. When I say tours, I mean like you can buy a trip in this airplane. This is a C-47 Skytrain. You see lots of movies, you'll see this airplane. These were used so much in their time, and it's like one of those airplanes that you almost couldn't kill. This was operational from 1943 until present because it's still going. And this is not your typical, ooh, look at this. Lavatory back here. And we're at an angle, but this is built for comfort because, like I say, they do tours in this. And we're walking upwards. Can you imagine just sitting on a couch? This is awesome. All the way up. Ooh, it's toasty in here. And there is your cockpit. Right there. This was not really used for fighting. This was more of a transport. But it was used in Italy, Albania, Greece, Sicily, Algeria. This is like a Indiana Jones type plane. Look here, here's a Chinook, one of the double propellered helicopter. All I gotta say is, this place is cool. Very cool. I think that maybe sometime I might do the flight tour. That would be pretty neat. I'm sure that sucker's loud. It'd be cool to fly in there. I've flown in a Cessna, a propeller airplane, but I wonder what it'd be like to be one of those. I don't know. I might check it out, maybe for the next time. I'm gonna make my way back through, and if I see anything, I'll show you. That's one final look. I do remember reading that they don't do the tours in the summer because it's too hot. You have a pretty decent wall of all these fighter jets, fighter airplanes that were used throughout time up until present time. Merry Christmas, Hitler.
I got him a ride on the C-47 and the B-17. He was a pilot. He was a tail gunner in a B-24. So he trained in that, and he was coming over to bomb the Pulaski oil fields out of Italy, 15th Air Corps, right? Got over to Italy. They didn't want an all-rookie crew, so they split his crew up, and part of them stayed in the B-24. They put him in the B-17, which had 80 missions under its belt, so it was beat up pretty bad.
Yeah.
On his first mission over to Yugoslavia, engines started running rough. They shut one down. The other one was knocked out by flak, so they were given the bailout order over Yugoslavia. There's the map on where they were flying, and they were going to Romania to bomb the oil fields, right? And so he gets ready to bail out, and he sees all the other gunners in the waist congregating, talking. And he said, well, I'm not going to be the first one out of here. So he crawls over the tail wheel into the center, and then they decide to all go out at the same time. Well, he ended up landing in a tree. Well, when he bailed out, his chute didn't open. He's falling. He remembered in training, just reach in and just start grabbing hunks of silk. So he started throwing out hunks of silk, and it finally opened up. And he's trying to guide himself, and here's this lone tree on top of this hill, and he lands in the doggone tree. So went down through the branches, and he cut himself down, and here these guys come up with pitchforks and stuff. He thinks, oh boy, you know, I'm in enemy territory. Well, they're Chetniks, and they were sympathetics to the Americans. And other air crew had been rescued by these guys, so they moved him from farmhouse to farmhouse. Man. That's him sleeping in the hayloft on the second from the right with all the black hair. That's him.
That is so great.
Yeah, so anyway, fast forward, this was April 1944, he was shot down on the ripcord right there. By August, they sent in our C-47, including ours, out there to rescue these downed pilots. A secret airstrip was made for them under the noses of the Germans. They were looking for these guys. And my dad was like one of the first airplanes out of there, back to Italy, and didn't put him back in service because he knew too much about the rebel operation. And so they sent him back to the States to finish out his tour. So Gregory Freeman wrote a book about those downed airmen that were never captured, the Forgotten 500. We got that in our bookstore here.
All right.
And my brother wrote a book, my dad's exploitations, One Mission to Ploesti. And there's my dad at 95, and here's Dad at 23 when he flew. And he lived till 96 years old. This jacket here is his dress jacket. That's the wedding photo with my mom and my dad, and that's the jacket he got married in.
That is so great.
And they were married for 72 years, and they're like teenagers till the very end.
That is so awesome. That's such a great story.
Isn't that great? And here's his medals, the Purple Hearts and everything. And we're just so proud of him. Very humble guy. You know, these guys
Right.
don't talk about that.
Yeah,
You know?
it's just what they were doing at
Yeah.
the time. That I know my grandfather was a sergeant major in the Marines.
Wow.
He was in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam, and it's funny because he talks about 1944 like it's yesterday.
Yeah.
Knows everybody's names. He passed away a few years ago, but knew everybody's names, the ranks, and that's how he'd always introduce people. This is so and so in their rank. You know, it's so funny, but it is. They're just like, this is just what they did, and that was just their job.
Duty. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a good story. I wanted to share that with you.
I appreciate that.
And I was humbled that they honored him like this. And I gave him some archive stuff, and Dad said, "Sure, give him the ripcord and my jacket." And he was alive when they made this case and presented it to him here at the museum.
That's so cool. So where was he from originally?
We were originally from Iowa.
Okay.
And I moved with my family when I was 10 years old, so that was about 60 years ago. But yeah, originally from Iowa, and then his crew members were from all over the United States. But yeah, kind of a neat story. One and done, you know, one mission. But maybe that was a good thing. Because
the one.
that was hazardous. Bombing in those B-24s. It was rare to have a B-17 to go over to Pulaski. It was mainly the 24s. And these are actual photos of them low-level bombing the Pulaski oil fields. But it was so disastrous, these guys were getting wiped out. So my dad's mission that he didn't fully make, they were the first high-level bombing mission to go over the Pulaski. But that poor B-17 finally had it. It just couldn't do anymore. So, kind of cool history. And that's why I like to be here, honoring his legacy and honoring the vets that come through here, and just the history of all this. Because that's why we live in a free country, because these guys that sacrifice.
That's the truth. That's the truth. And, I mean, you know, your dad's story, there's thousands more of those stories that
They're gone.
they're gone.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
This telegram, and it's a copy, but it's all wrinkled. Well, as you can see, that's a telegram his mother, my grandma, got, that informing her that he's missing in action. And he was missing for 3-4 months while they're hiding him out. And they would move him in the middle of the night because a German convoy was coming looking for him.
Right.
And she crumpled that Western Union note up on the in her living room, threw it on the floor, and said, "He's coming back." And she went to church every day praying for his safe return. And so she kept the original Western Union telegraph.
That's so great.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So, and I guess I'm bragging, but he was just the greatest father, greatest guy. Just like all these guys, they were just so humble, doing their duty. You know?
Right.
Anyway, I wanted to share that.
That might make this video go a little bit longer, but definitely worth it. What a great story. Well, that was an incredible trip through that museum. I went ahead and picked up the 2 books. The one book that the man I spoke to's brother wrote, and then the Forgotten 500. Hope it's a good read. Come to this museum. The people are great here. They have rich history, and it's hard to top this. So we'll see where else today goes. And I am across from a citrus orchard. I don't know if that's lemons or oranges, but it is a citrus orchard. All right. Well, I made it to my final destination. This is it. Thanks for following along with me on an awesome day. I'll see you tomorrow. Give me a thumbs up, rock that notification bell, and give me a subscribe. I'll see you tomorrow. Later.